South Asia Conference 2026, held on the 4th and 5th of January 2026, has concluded on a successful note. The conference has brought together The conference has brought together eminent scholars and practitioners from India and across the globe for 2 days of insightful paper presentation, enriching panel discussions, and meaningful networking. A total of 40 papers were received from 87 authors. The exceptional quality of research, exchange of unique ideas, and enthusiastic participation of all the delegates made this conference a truly memorable one. We look forward to carrying this spirit further, strengthening the AIB South Asia academic community in the years ahead. We now move on to one of the most awaited events of the conference, the announcement of the Best Paper Awards. The jury for selecting the Best Paper Awards comprised of Professor S. Raghunath, Professor Sumit Kundu, and Professor K. Rangarajan. I would request Professor S. Raghunath, Sumit Kundu, and K. Rangarajan, sir, to please come up on the stage for the award distribution. The track for Global Strategy and Operation was chaired by Professor Sumit Kundu. These were the papers presented in the track, and the best paper goes to Vivek Bhattacharya from IIM Ahmedabad for his paper titled Illegitimate at Birth, Increased Outreach and Signal Quality, Web Presence and Quality Certification as Legitimate Strategies to Overcome Foundational Liabilities, co-authored with Rajeshi Mukherjee.
So where are the authors? Okay.
The next track is Gender and Diversity, chaired by Professor Alka Maurya. These were the papers presented in the track, and the best paper goes to Adrija Mazumdar from IIM Ahmedabad for her paper titled Beyond Code, Gender Differences in Popularity in Open Source Software Communities, co-authored with Prahanshita Krishna and Indraneel Bose. The next track is on Global Value Chains, Network and Operations, chaired by Professor Dipankar Sinha. These were the papers presented, and the best paper goes to Debashish Chakraborty for his paper titled Which Regulatory Factors Can Impede Services Trade? Evidence from PPML Results, co-authored with Shrinka Bose.
Give the thing, no? Where is the plug?
Please bring it.
We have 3 people giving award to one person. Are you the one taking it? You are the one giving it. Hey. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
The next track was on internationalization processes, family business, and international entrepreneurship. These were the papers presented in the track. And the best paper award goes to Biswajit Chaki from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Delhi campus, for his paper titled Entrepreneurial Micro Foundation of Dynamic Capability in Platform-Based E-commerce Firms. The role of market insight, learning orientation, and entrepreneurial alertness. Co-authored with M. Venkatesan.
Congratulations.
The next track was for International Finance, Accounting, and Corporate Governance, chaired by Professor Jayanto Kumar C. These were the papers presented in the track, and the Best Paper Award goes to Mr. Chinmay Bahera from the Goa Institute of Management for his paper titled Volatility Connectedness Among Geopolitical Risk, X Uncertainty, Oil Price, Stock Returns, and Advanced Countries.
Nobody is speaking it on his behalf.
The next track is on sustainability in international business, chaired by Professor K. Rangarajan and Professor Devashish Chakraborty. These were the papers presented in the track, and the Best Paper Award goes to Mr. Shubhadeep Dey from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Kolkata campus, for his paper titled ESG Performance and Dynamics of Mergers and Acquisitions, co-authored with Dr. K. Rangarajan.
Hello, come in the middle. Hold on.
The next track was on emerging markets and emerging market M&Es, chaired by Professor G. Shainesh. These were the papers presented in the track, and the Best Paper Award goes to Roma Mandal from IIM Bangalore for her paper titled The Geography of Project Successes, co-authored with Sai Yayavaram and Vijay Venkatashanam. The next track is on international human resource management, global leadership, and cross-cultural management, chaired by Professor K. Rangarajan. And these are the papers presented in the track. And the Best Paper Award goes to Gitika Sharma from IIFT Delhi for her paper titled Evolution and Contemporary Landscape of Psychometric Assessments in Talent Management, co-authored with Pooja Lakhanpal. For the track M&E State Relations and International Business Policy, chaired by Professor Tawfiq Ajaz, these were the papers which were presented in this track. And the Best Paper Award goes to Sound Rai from ICRIR Delhi for his paper titled Trade Implications of Tariff and Non-Tariff Measures on India's Exports, the Case of Iron and Steel and Aluminium Industries, co-authored with Smriti Mighani. We wish a heartfelt congratulations to all the Best Paper Award winners. I would now request Professor S. Raghunath, Chair AIB South Asia Academy of International Business, to deliver the closing remarks.
Good afternoon to all.
I was just wondering whether some of you will volunteer and say that I know that paper presenter who's won the award and will take the award away. None of you did that. And I really think your level of ethics is extremely high. Who knows the face of any of these guys, right? But nobody came forward except Professor Mose. I will collect it on that. Anyway, so much for the number of paper presenters who have run away after presenting, and I don't understand why they don't receive awards. Anyway, whatever it is. First of all, my very sincere thanks to the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, who have taken on this very demanding responsibility of shaping the entire agenda of this conference, ensuring academic rigor and stewarding the entire review process and with professionalism and care. So a very hearty congratulations to them. And I also wish to acknowledge the program committee members, the various track chairs and reviewers, many of whom who served very quietly behind the scene. I would like to acknowledge your work in curating the thematic tracks, managing the entire peer review process, and providing developmental feedback to the authors. So that is the most important value that we transfer through a conference. The reason why you present is to get the feedback from the experts who obviously are available. So I'm very sure many of you benefited from it, and I look forward to you continuing this effort going forward. I also wish to thank the committee and the voluntary teams that you have. Your volunteer team is extremely strong. All younger faculty, doctoral scholars, you are so full of energy, and you have given so generously of your time that you are actually an example to this whole country, and there should be a clap for this. Sorry for asking that. I would like to place on record my appreciation and gratitude for the following team that actually ran the conference. First of all, the chairs of the conference, Professor K. Rangarajan, Professor Dipankar Sinha, I kindly convey our heartfelt thanks. He's not around there. The core committee members, Professor Devashish Chakrabarti. Can you stand up? Professor Naman Sharma. And none other than the debonair and dashing Professor Raghuveer Nehi. Without Professor Nehi, I or Professor Rangarajan could have not had a peaceful night's sleep. The poor man, any time of the day and night, has been troubled, and he has always done with a very smiling face. So another clap. And then there are many other faculty in charge of various committees. Professor Ranajay is around? No? Okay. Professor Saraswati Tripathi. No. Professor Saikot Banerjee. No. Professor Jayanta C. Thank you so much. Professor Vivek Roy Chowdhury. Not here. Professor Devashish Chakrabarti. Second time. Thank you. Professor T.P. Ghosh. Not here. Professor Kavita Vadwa. Professor Oindrila Dey. Professor Anirban Biswas. And of course, all the track chairs, which includes me, Professor Sunil Professor Alka Maurya, who is probably not here. Professor G. Sainesh just left. Of course, Professor Ragarajan, Professor Dipankar Sinha is not around. Professor Jayanta Kumar C is not around. Of course, oh, he's not there. Professor Debashish Chakravarti, you are there, and Professor Tawfiq Ajaz. Thank you so very much. And the staff who are associated with the conference. Miss Sumana Das. Thank you. Mr. Tanmay Roy. Thank you so much. Miss Upasana Bhattacharya. So, आगे तो आइए. They cannot see you. हाँ. Turn it on once. अब बैठ जाते हैं, खड़े हो. Miss Subhashri Bhadra. Thank you. Miss Ankana Pal. Thank you so much. Miss Asha Purna Roy. Thank you very much. Mr. Nilay Kumar Mukherjee. Not around, no. Miss Dwaipayan Ash. Somebody has written Miss here. They have missed the Mr. Okay, Mr. Dwaipayan Ash. Not available. Thank goodness. Mr. Shahid Anwar. Not. Mr. Vinay Goyal. Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Dhananjay Adhikari. Not right. Miss Kasturi Roy Chowdhury. Again, no, not for no. This time they have written Mr. Dwayapan Ash, so it has been changed. Miss Saurina Bose. Thank you so very much. Mr. Ramakrishna Das. Thank you so very much. Mr. Deep Mukherjee. Whom I can never forget. He is the one who set up Wi-Fi and this everything. So double time of this. Mr. Abhishek Karmakar. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. Mr. Pinaki Bhattacharya. Thank you very much. Miss Indrani Roy Ghatal. Not around. Who is this who is saying that? You're keeping everybody's attendance here standing there. You know who's around and not around is standing in the corner. Can you believe this? He keeps track of everybody. Mr. Shah Faisal. Mr. Baidyanath Gorain. No. Mrs. Om Shri Mazumdar. No. Mr. Devashish Naskar. No. Miss Zainab Imam. He's saying definitely not around. He says, you will guarantee that he cannot wait. So, Mr. Dibayendu Patra. No. Mr. Kaushik Nath. No. Mr. Biplab Chakraborty. No. Mr. Aryan Moira. Where? Thank you. Thank you. Miss Kaustov Bhattacharya.
Mr.
Huh?
Mr.
Must be an eyesight problem. When there is a Mr., it looks like Miss. Mr. Raktim Mitra. No. All right. Mr. Adit R. No. Mr. Prashant Jaiswal. No. Miss Anushka Sriman. No. Miss Indrani Bhaduri. Mr. Saumya Chakravarti. Mr. Ashok Kumar Chakravarti. Mr. Tanmay Kumar Barui. No. Mr. Himanshu Ranjan. No. Miss Kinari Sinha. Avita. Thank you for giving us the opportunity of seeing. because there has been a long lag between the number of names I have read and somebody appears. Miss Urvi Chawal. इधर आइए, सर इधर आओ. Thank you very much. Miss Priyanka Pandey. Thank you very much. Miss Diya Mukherjee. Thank you very much. Mr. Saptarshi Bhavik. Thank you so much. Mr. Rajdeep Roy Chaudhary. Thank you. Thank you so much. I say Arey what to him because he is associated. Mr. Rishabh Lodh. Wait. Miss Anesha Chattopadhyay. Miss Umili De. Thank you very much. Mr. Rudrashish Datta. Are you the one who wrote that paper on game theory? You work on game. You don't work on game theory. You have a finance. Who was the guy? Yesterday in game theory, he looked like him, right? Where is he? He's a lookalike like he looks like. Then Mr. Siddhant. Mr. Brij Bhushan Yadav. Thank you. Mr. Pranav Bhattacharya. Thank you very much. Mr. Suman Khorat. Thank you. Thank you very much. So all your collective efforts have provided the kind of energy and the kind of intellectual transformation that has happened here, all because of all of you. So a big clap to all of you who are really together. Now I will resume my speech with your permission. This looks like your property.
Thank you so much, sir, for thanking all of us individually. It truly means important to be in such a conference where each one of us are thanked like this. It really means a lot. Thank you so much, sir. I would now request Professor Rakesh Mohan Joshi, Vice Chancellor of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, to deliver a special address.
Thank you so much. And saying anything after Professor Raghunath is a very challenging task because whatever the claps you had, you have already clapped. And I know now nobody is going to clap.
Now they will sing a song. Now they will sing a song.
Now you have to sing a song. So thank you so much. And, sir, thank you so much for giving IIFT privilege to host this. And our entire team under leadership of Professor Rangarajan has done extremely well. And to see you happy makes me happy. Because for a professor, a student keep on working whole year, whole semester, whole trimester. Once professor says it was good, then it is good. And nothing succeeds like success. And if you say that it was good, so the professor of marketing, it was good and it makes me happy. Delight. Thank you so much. In having faith in IIFT, and it gave opportunity to various scholars, professors from far and wide. People have come from different places. Elizabeth, professor from America with Egyptian, professor from Harvard. So we have got great professors here, and all these papers were read, contemporary issues were discussed, and with this, I think I thank you, each one of you, for being with us, and thank you, Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words. May I now request Professor K. Rangarajan, Conference Chair, AIB South Asia, and Professor and Head of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Kolkata campus, to deliver the valedictory address.
Very good evening to all of you. Professor Raghunath, Chairman, AIB South Asia Chapter, Professor Rakesh Mohan Joshi, Vice Chancellor IIFT, Professor Sumit Kundu, who has been part of all our efforts in organizing different conferences, researches, and the network relationship with the other institutions. Professor Zahara, Professor Elizabeth, my colleagues over here, Dr. Kumar Devashish, Jayanto, Topic was there. Yes, he is there. Anirban, and the people who were completely controlling and monitoring this conference, Professor Naman and Professor Ravi Nagi, and my administrative team. A lot of people, when Professor Raghunath was calling, they were not there because they were already back in their seat. After lunch, they have started working their other administrative routines. Because of that, they haven't made it. See, it's a great pleasure for us always to take up the conferences, especially when it comes to AIB. We always feel it is our responsibility to ensure the presence of AIB in this part of the world. So since its association, like I already said, more than 2 decades now, we have been able to gain out of our association with AIB. And I hope AIB also might have gained in making that kind of an impact, what is required, what they might have desired in creating in not only India, but also South Asia. This year, we were more happy, apart from the papers, we were more happy to hold those panel discussions, which are extremely important on 2 fronts. One is for the young faculty who want to become a faculty, which has been conducted. It's really motivating for the young aspirants in the teaching fraternity. But also the women panel, which has brought in a lot of insights as to what the other side is also thinking. Because as academics, we work on a lot of issues. But now, you might have heard, if you would have been present in that panel, the way in which what they think about what is happening in the diversity, equity, inclusion, etc. Thanks to Professor Elizabeth for organizing and giving us this opportunity for us to hold this panel. So in fact, I find that these are 2 other milestones which we have achieved in this year's conference, and we always want to come out with, because the contemporariness is not only in the papers, what is being written, it is also about the platform, to what extent the platform is contemporary, and understand the needs of the researchers. So from that point of view, I'm really happy, and I'm thankful to Professor Raghunath for allowing us to hold those kind of panels also. And the panelists who were present, I'm thankful to all of them. And at this point, I would also like to mention the kind of a support what we received from Professor Rakesh Mohan Joshi. When in one of the board, when it was suggested, when I said, sir, we are ready to hold it, it's opposed. In good faith, I always say, but I know that the internal permissions are required. And Professor Joshi, when I shared with him that this is what is going to happen, so he just inquired about this one. Okay, go ahead. See, that is the kind of a motivation what is required. The rest all we may be able to put the things in place. But the first word go is more important when it comes to these kind of conferences. Really thankful, sir, for doing that one. That is the initial, right? That is where we started. And about Professor Raghunath, and also one name which he generally forget, which I never forget, is Shankari. Right? I still remember in Nepal conference also, they forgot the name of Shankari. And Shankari, wherever you are, please show your face because
You have to come forward. You can't stand there.
a lot of people haven't seen you; they only heard you. With this, thank you, Shankari. And the backhand support what we have received from Professor Raghunath. People, when Professor Raghunath was introduced, just listening to that, Professor Raghunath was more introduced as a great academician and he holds conferences and all those stuff. But the other side of this person is, there are two other sides of this person which is not well read in the conferences. Number one, he's a great entrepreneur also, right? He supports. He understands the entrepreneurship and he supports it, which I have witnessed when we were in Shimla. Right? I still remember those entrepreneurial activities. Apart from that, he is widely published. He has published. I was just going through some of this thing. See, he has published in Journal of International Management, Journal of International Business Review, Journal of Business Research, International Journal of Research on Hospital and Health Administration, Asian Review. The list goes. But also he is sharing his thoughts on different corporate platforms also. He's a very a full, well-rounded kind of a person whom we always say that an academician is not only a teacher but also a researcher, not only a researcher but also a person who can guide the stakeholders. Since he is from strategy, probably he understands that stakeholders and he has been part and parcel of every aspect of those kind of stakeholders, including some of the policy inputs what he has given. So thank you to you, sir, for giving us this kind of an opportunity, and we are also always grateful to you. And one more thing which I always felt that it is Sumit, Sumit Kunduji, whatever way you call, being an alumni, he has a special love for IIFT and love that he everywhere he echoes that. And we are really grateful to you, Professor Sumit Kundu. It's not required, but still, right? He always does that. In fact, thanks to Mr. Trump, this year we could not do the networking workshop. The team which he generally brings from US, different faculty and other industry people, they used to visit 25 to 30 people. They used to come every year and they visit India. And I know that Mr. Trump's budget cut has cut his cyber workshop, it seems. But nevertheless, we see whether we remember it or not, our ecosystem remembers it because every year they have planted a tree also. So the cyber trees, there are 5, 6 cyber trees which we are having in our campus. So every time the contingent comes, they plant a tree and they always, the next contingent comes and asks, what happened to our previous contingent's plant? So it is an evidence-based relationship. Okay, so that is what we are maintaining. And thanks to you, Professor Sumitji, I hope we'll continue to receive your support and help IIFT in furthering its mandate on contributing to international business research. Thank you. With that, I once again thank all the people who have supported this conference and make it a success. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your warm words. We will now move to an important segment of the valedictory session, acknowledging the valuable contribution of our track chairs. Now, I would like to request Professor Raghunathan Joshi, Vice Chancellor, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, to present our track chairs with a memento as a small gesture of our gratitude for their academic leadership, guidance, and tireless efforts in ensuring the success of the conference. May I now request our esteemed track chairs to kindly come forward as I announce their names to receive the memento. Firstly, for for the technical session on emerging markets and emerging markets MNEs or global strategy and organization, may I request Professor Shumit Kundu, structure for the session to kindly come forward. Next, for the technical session on internationalization process, family business and international entrepreneurship, may I request Professor S. Raghunath, structure for the session to kindly come forward. Following this, we move to the technical session on international finance, accounting, and corporate governance. May I request Professor Jonathan Kumar Sheel, structure for this session to kindly come forward. We are now moving forward to the technical sessions on sustainability in international business and international HRM, global leadership, and cross-cultural management. May I request Professor C. Rangarajan, track chair for these sessions, to kindly come forward. Following this, we move to the technical session on MNE state relations and international business policy. May I request Professor Tawfiq Ajaz, structure for this session, to kindly come forward. We now move to another technical session on sustainability in international business. May I request Professor Debashish Chakraborty, track chair for this session, to kindly come forward. Thank you, professors, for your invaluable contribution to AIB South Asia Conference 2026. We would now like to take this opportunity to express our special gratitude to the members of the core committee, whose continuous support were instrumental in making this conference a success. Now, I would like to request Professor Rakesh Mohan Joshi, Vice Chancellor, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, to present a token of gratitude to Professor Debashish Chakraborty, Professor, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Kolkata campus, in recognition of his invaluable contributions as a member of the core committee and for his constant guidance and support. May I now request Professor S. Raghunath, Chair of AIB South Asia Chapter, to present a token of appreciation to Professor Naman Sharma, Assistant Professor, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Kolkata campus, in appreciation of his dedicated service, guidance, and support as a member of the Gold Committee. I would now like to request Professor K. Rangarajan, Chair of AIB South Asia Conference 2026 and Center Head and Professor of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Kolkata campus, to present a token of gratitude to Professor Raghuveer Negi, Assistant Professor, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, in recognition of his significant contribution, guidance, and continuous commitment to the board government. Thank you, professors, for your unwavering support and leadership. I would now like to invite Professor Devashish Chakraborty, Professor, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Kolkata campus, on the stage to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Professor Raghunath really made my life easier by thanking each one of them. But in the old days, remember, by your mail, we had to sign out twice. So there is no hurry to thank them once. So let me do the honors here. First, I would like to thank the Academy of International Business Leadership in general and Professor Tobin Pedersen, President AIB in particular, for considering IIFT as the knowledge partner for hosting the AIB SSC 2026 conference. We are especially grateful to Professor Raghunath, Chair AIB South Asia Executive Board, for his meticulous planning, thoughtful suggestions, and wise guidance at each stage of discussions that we had with the AIB team over the last couple of weeks. We are really grateful to you, sir, for your continuous support. We are genuinely grateful to Professor Shumit Kundu, an illustrious alumni member of IIFT and current president in DAM, for his deep involvement in making AIB South Asia 2026 conference successful. Sir, we are indeed grateful to you for your strong sense of commitment to your alma mater, and we hope to continue to receive this support in future as well. We would like to express our sincere thanks to all the dignitaries who significantly contributed to the success of the conference, either by delivering special lecture or participating in the panel discussions during the last 2 days, either in online or in offline mode. I would like to name Professor Zahra, Professor Mustafa, Professor Rangarajan, Professor Marchand, Professor Factor, Professor Kundu, Professor Rose, Professor Raichaudhuri, Professor Bhattacharya, Professor Rana, Professor Dr. Acharya Raichaudhuri, Miss Rana, Miss Chaudhuri, Miss Shen, Miss Talukdar, and Miss Kasera for sharing their rich deliberations during this conference, which indeed were thought-provoking. Now coming to the organizing team, I would like to express our sincere thanks to Professor Rakesh Joshi, Honorable Vice Chancellor of IIFT, who has always been quite encouraging to all the academic deliberations activities that we undertake at IIFT Kolkata campus. Thank you very much, sir, for coming to Kolkata to be present for the AIB SSC 2026, despite your busy schedule, and encouraging the audience with your rich perspective. Now, I would like to thank Professor Rangarajan and Professor Sinha, Chair and Co-Chair of AIB SSC 2026, respectively, for their relentless efforts during the last few months. Their involvement and energy level at each stage of the planning, many a times going well beyond office hours. Professor Raghunath rightly mentioned about the night and day that Raghu did, but what he didn't mention, they were also working with Raghu, Naman, and myself. So, I would say, sir, it's an honor to be part of the conference team under your guidance. Thank you. Now, no conference would be successful without the active participation of the paper presenters. We are grateful to all the young scholars and faculties of various institutes and universities who presented very interesting papers during the conference. We are equally grateful to the session chairs who enriched the presentations, the presenters, with their thoughtful comments and suggestions. Professor Shumit Kundu, Professor Alka Maurya, Professor Dipankar Sinha, Professor S. Raghunath, Professor Jayantu Kumar Hill, Professor Rangarajan, Professor Tawfiq Ajaz, Professor Shailesh, all of them deserve a very heartfelt thanks from the IIFT conference organizing team. Now, we discussed about the back and front end of research paper writing this morning while we were there in this particular hall for the Meet the Editor session. For any conference, we must have a team working at the back end for making the event a success. Professor Raghunath already thanked the IIFT team, but I will be failing in my duties if I don't do that once again. So I must thank Professor Jayant Kumar Shil, Professor Shoikav Banerjee, Professor Vivek Roy Chaudhary, Professor Shashwati Tripathi, Professor Ronojoy Bhattacharya, Professor Ati Sharma, Professor Kavita Wadhwa, Professor T.P. Ghosh, Professor Anirban Vishwas, Professor Tawfiq Ajaz, and Professor Wendrila Dey for their all-out support at different points and junctures when we were organizing this conference. I must also mention that different departments of IIFT, research, administration, finance, IT, store, hostel, travel desk, media management, and all other departments, they really overworked, without which we could not have arranged this conference effectively. I am just mentioning the name of Vinay, Daibayal, Nilay, Shahid, Tanmoy, Vashana, Ankona, Shapurna, Shumana, Omsri, Shaurina, Dhananjay, Pinaki, Dipendu, Kaushik, Shomo, Indrani, Oyon, Biplov, Kasturi, Boidonath, Faisal, Shubhrajit, Zainab, and many others whom, because of paucity of time, I am not mentioning, who really contributed in the process. Special thanks would go to the IT team of ours, Ram, Deep, and Umesh. Now, a conference of this scale and stature cannot be successful unless the students of the institute extend their support and cooperation to the organizing team. Our PhD and MBA students, they delivered that effectively, and I thank each one of them. I would particularly offer the thanks to the PhD team by naming them, simply because they are lesser in number. The MBA students are sitting there. They should not be angry with me because there are too many of them, 3 full sections. So I'm not naming each one of them individually. The PhD students who worked overtime for making this conference a success. We have Omiti, Priyanka, Nilanjana, Akanksha, Rudrashish, Rajdeep, Purvi, Anisha, Kinnori, Shaptarshi, Shuman, Rishabh, Dia, Siddhant, Vijbhushan, Pranto, and others who significantly contributed in making the conference a huge success. I'm sure I'm missing some of the names who are tirelessly at the back end for making the ESSC a success. That omission is unfortunate rather than deliberate. Okay. Now, before stopping, I must thank, in line with Professor Rangarajan, Ms. Shankari, for all the supports and cooperation she extended during this period. And I must also thank my team colleagues, Dr. Naman Sharma and Dr. Raghuveer Negi, for all the efforts they have taken without looking at the clock. I have to stop just here because if I start giving the description of the responsibilities they had shouldered, then we need another one. So you can trust my words, they really over time for making the conference a success. A big thanks to them. So to end, once again, thanks to each one of you for making the AIB SSC 2026 a huge success, a successful forum for knowledge exchange. And with permission of Dr. Raghunath, I can say the wait for AIB SSC 2027 just begins. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will now move to the AIB South Asia Business Meeting. I would like to invite Professor S. Raghunath, Chair of AIB South Asia Chapter, to kindly take over the proceedings.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Now, as Professor rightly said, the next conference 2027 is being planned in the country which has the highest happiness index in South Asia, and that is Bhutan, Thimphu. Here we come. And the reason why we are planning to host it there is because we have Bhutan as the new member of the South Asia chapter, and we have a new member on the executive board, and we sincerely hope that a university there will, as you have done, will host, and all of us will go there and experience happiness. So please mark your dates in January. Don't give it away to anybody. At least in the first 10 days of January, one of those days it will happen. We are very careful in positioning this dates with the view that we have the INDAM, the Academy of Management India, also having their conference in January. And therefore, what we do is we don't allow any clashes between paper presenters who are here as well as there. Since digital twin is not permitted these days, we think that they should be physically present, and therefore we wait for those dates. Sumit Dada is here to tell me the advance information, and I always ask him when is it being planned, and then we change the dates accordingly so that they don't collide. For example, we always precede the INDAM conference. Is clap. Professor Shakir Zara, thank you very much for that. But I must also place on record our sincere gratitude to Professor Torben Pedersen. I will tell you the reason why I'm remembering each one of the names which are here. Professor Torben was very keen to come to the conference here when I met him in the month of July in the global AIB conference. And then closer to date, he announced that his daughter is giving birth to twins exactly around the dates in which the conference is being held. And you know, the reason why I have such great feelings for him is that in spite of being so very bound in terms of whatever help, because in Europe, they don't get the kind of facility that you get in Asian countries, okay? They have to do everything. So, in spite of that, you noticed that was a 19-minute, 20-second speech which was crafted with such effort that we would like to thank him, though he's not around. Then is Professor Shakir Zara, who for last 1 year I have been reminding him about this conference that happens once a year. And every time I said this to him, he would smile back and say, I will certainly come. Now, being an Asian, when people say, I will certainly come, we hold it to the infinite future. We don't know when. But you know, he was, I must say, his genuineness, his strength of sincerity and commitment. And I know how busy he is. You know, he's got a very, very busy life. Sir, you made that special effort. When you landed, you came here before he went to the Academy of Management India conference. Special class. If possible, somebody should whistle for him. Can you whistle, Professor Raghuveer Negi? You don't know how to whistle. Ah, there. Who is that? Once again. Ah, that is for Professor Sakarila. He's going to object after this. Now, then we have Professor Farooq Contract, who again I approached a year back. And he was very kind enough. We saw the amount of presentation work that he had done. And he too had a problem because he just landed from the US. And given the kind of fatigue that one goes, primarily because of the lag in terms of, you know, where they are 9.5 hours back and they land here. He was not able to make it, but even then, I think we had a great presentation, and my sincere thanks to him. And then, of course, Professor Elizabeth Rose. You cannot recognize her because she's wearing a sari. Professor Elizabeth Rose, so kind of you to have agreed again in the month of July 2025 to actually host the women in AIB, and that process started long back. And finally, thank you very much. I know how your schedule is. Thank you very much for making that happen. Thank you. Professor Sumit Kundu, what do you think his contribution? He was the one who introduced me to Indian Institute of Foreign and to Professor Rangaraj. And the number of activities that we have had with Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Professor Rangarajan being involved, Professor Sumit Kundu has been that subterranean river like you see Ganga, Yamuna, but Saraswati is underneath. So Professor Sumit Kundu's hand is everywhere. So Professor Zara, I will explain this to you a little later, what I said just now. Okay. So, with that, I would like to quickly come to the business meeting. We will have to tell you what we did. In the year 2025, we held a similar conference that was scheduled in Dhaka in Bangladesh. And then Bangladesh erupted around November, was it? That they had this political turmoil and no visas were available, nothing. And we decided to go online with the entire conference. So we did that. And it was conducted virtually. But the quality of participation and scholarly engagement were exemplary. The conference actually brought together scholars from Bangladesh, India, US, Australia, Canada, Morocco, Iran, Malaysia, and featured 38 research paper submissions, multiple interactive paper sessions, 4 high-impact panel discussions, and a strong blend of policy, practice, and theory. We were deeply honored those days by Professor Gary Knight, who was then the president of the Academy of International Business, as our keynote speaker. He too spent time and he was willing to come, but he could not because of the circumstances. And he set the tone for the conference. This was chaired by Professor Surinder Munjal and co-chaired by his colleague Mohammad Faisal from Leeds University and from Dhaka by Dr. Salim Ahmed, reflecting the AIB Global Local Partnership Model. I would also like to acknowledge the World University of Bangladesh as the host, along with our partner institutions, and sincerely thank all those panelists, reviewers, session chairs, and participants, and also the Best Paper Award winners in that conference. In 2025, we also launched the International Strategic Alliances Research Group, a major intellectual initiative designed to deepen theoretical and methodological capabilities in alliance and global strategy research. The series attracted 20 participants, 9 faculty members, 9 doctoral researchers, 2 industry participants, representing India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Africa, the UK, and across the years, across the entire 2025, we hosted sessions virtual by outstanding scholars, Professor Torben Pedersen, Professor Surinder Munjal, Professor Snehal Lavate, Professor Elizabeth Rose, myself, and Professor K. Rangarajan, when we all of us contributed a very highly impactful sessions on partner analysis, alliance frameworks, and this actually exemplifies our commitment to building scholarly capabilities and not just events. We also had 4 virtual workshops, publishing South Asia focused research, Professor Ravi Ramamurthy. There were 27 participants, faculty and researchers and others. Teaching International Business Strategy, Professor K. Rangarajan, with 15 participant students and faculty. The other one was on Teaching International Marketing, facilitated by Professor Mallika. We had 15 participants. And Research Skills in International Marketing, again facilitated by Professor G. Sainesh, our board member. So, going forward, I want to make a fantastic announcement that will make you all not just clap but also whistle. That I am delighted to formally announce that Professor K. Rangarajan will take over as the next chair of the AIB South Asia Executive Board, August 2026. He brings scholarly depth, institutional wisdom, and a strong commitment to mentoring the next generation. And we request you all to continue to extend the cooperation that you have extended and the collegial support that we get so generously from all of you. So looking ahead in 2026, we are now planning 4 regional AIB South Asia activities, expanding our footprint and engagement across the region. So what we are planning to do, as I said, we will have one in Bhutan in January 2027, and the other one is about having each geography of this country, north, south, east, and west, 4 different workshops, which will be more face-to-face instead of sticking with what we have done virtually over the years. Because I believe that impact is much more when everything is in person. And I invite all of you senior scholars, early career researchers, and doctoral students to continue to engage with AIB South Asia through your research collaborations. We have fantastic scholars who are with us, through your active participation, and through the mentoring that you will receive and the intellectual generosity, which is always a hallmark of all AIB scholars. So I thank you all for being part of our story, and I wish Professor Rangarajan success as the incoming chair in August 2026. And I look forward to seeing you all in the regional activities in 2026 and in Bhutan 2026. I will now request Professor Rangarajan to say a few words of acceptance.
Thank you, Professor Raghunath, for giving me a great surprise. And of course, as always, I'll try to commit myself for furthering the kind of agenda with which AIB South Asia is functioning, increasing our footprint, which will be more and more useful for the younger faculty and the young researchers, so that the reach can be further enhanced to some of the other institutions which are really interested in being part of these kind of activities. I think it will give a lot of impetus to improve the quality of education, what has been envisaged in our NEP also, as far as India is concerned. And I hope that it will give a chance to our neighboring countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, etc., which is always disturbed. Probably it is high time that such kind of a network will help them to strengthen through the association with the academics, the research. Probably, I hope, I'll be able to measure up to the expectations what might have been placed by you or me. Let us see and how it goes. With humility, let me accept this and try to do my best. Thank you. And the special occasion is, I hope I get my support of my Vice Chancellor as always. Thank you, sir.
Now, one moment before. You see, I have been always held liable to not thanking the one who actually runs the entire AIB South Asia activity throughout the year, and that is Madam Shankari. Please stand up so that I absolve myself of not thanking her enough for the kind of work she does. I'll tell you why I forget her. She is the one who prepares the list. I'm not the one who prepares the list. And she conveniently leaves her name out. So I am like a robo, I just read it, then keep going, and then somebody says, you don't even mention her. And I'm always thinking, how did I forget? That is because I'm reading, everything is off. So thank you very much, Shankari. You have always been a great support. And the backbone of all that happens in the country, around the country, and also with our headquarters in mission. So thank you, sir.
Thank you all for your presence, cooperation, and valuable contributions in making the AIB South Asia Conference 2026 a memorable and successful event. We would also like to inform you that both the official social media handles of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade Kolkata campus and Academy of International Business are mentioned on the conference ID cards. We kindly request you to follow these handles to stay updated on the conference photographs, videos, and highlights. Thank you, everyone.